Hello humans, this is Random Guy and welcome to the Random Channel. Today we're going to continue playing Medieval Fantasy, the game we were playing last time, the mobile visual RPG type game. Oh, by the way, I recently started playing RuneScape um, on the mobile. They recently made a mobile version for RuneScape, old school RuneScape, and if anyone here plays RuneScape, please leave any tips if you for a beginner because I don't. I've never played RuneScape before this, so I'm just kind of, waddling about, just leveling up my skills, wood cutting and stuff. So yeah. All right, let's continue. I have 7 life, 7 mana. I need to get more life. I need to get a bit more mana. The goals are right. Morale, I have no idea what that does. Off you go, deeper into the castle. Soon you find yourself in a library. However, all the books are gone from the tall wooden shelf, either stolen or destroyed. As a wizard, this is disappointing to you. All castle libraries have secret doors, you announce. I don't think you need to announce that. The girl told us, the Duchess told us last time that there's a secret door in the library. After searching for a while, you notice a small statue of Winged Boy reading a book worked into a stone wall. You press on the statue's arm and it shifts down. There is a grinding sound and you see a bookshelf nearby crack open from the wall. You wedge your fingers into the gap and pry open the door. Immediately before you are stairs descending into the darkness. Alright. Dear reader, normally I would give you a choice of whether or not you go down the stairs, but really, who finds the secret door and chooses not to investigate? I guess. And so with a lantern in hand, you descend a few steps and then listen. It's deadly quiet down here and chilly. You urge Ragnald to take the lead. After all, he is wearing the armor. There is a small metal lever on the inside of the passage that you suppose is what you use to open the door from the inside. Nevertheless, you decide to leave the door open. The last thing you need is to get trapped in this evil-smelling place. It is some time before you finally reach a small empty chamber. On the far wall is a large iron door. Scrawled over the door is rusty red eye, or more likely dried blood, is a set of elaborate symbols. Gods. What is that? Says Reginald, playing the lantern light over the symbols. It is written in the infernal tongue, you say, a language of devils, demons, and other beasts that inhabit the nightmare universe. So what does that mean? Is there are they talking about literal nightmare universe, like people's nightmares, or are they talking about like a separate realm in this universe? Alright, whatever it is, let's see. At times, I do not envy your knowledge, says Ragnall with a faint shudder. The study of magic leads to many dark places, you say. The trick is to not wander too far into the void. What does it say? Asks Ragnar in a tone that is not at all enthusiastic or curious. You study the symbols, they are crudely drawn, as though in haste, perhaps scrawled by bloody fingers. I cannot be sure. I believe it is a ward of some sort, a protection spell. A protection spell using such a foul language, Ragnar sniffs. I would expect a curse or a curse, not a curse. A curse or a fiendish summoning. It is a protection against such a summoning, a barrier, you say. Evil knows evil best, and a spellcaster of black magic understands the need to protect himself from the terrors they bring into this world. Ragnar grimaces and points the tip of his door at the warded door. What? The tip of his sword at the warded door. Only a fool would go down there, although I'm more of a man of curiosity than wisdom. You slap his shoulder, making a dull sound against his breastplate. As you have proven time and time again. Wait, what? As you have proven time and again. It should have been like time and time again, but I guess time and again does the job too. What do you want to do? Leave. I do not want any of that stuff around me. Dark door with a protection spell? Nah, fuck that. You turn and start up the stairs. You hear a shuddering screech behind you. Spinning around, you see Ragnar prying the door open and peering in with his lantern. More stairs going down. It is said the deeper you go, the more treasure you find, Ragnar says with a grin. His grin soon vanishes, though, as he exclaims, "Oh, the stench." He walks in. Should not the stench discourage exploration? You wonder, nevertheless, you follow after him. Well, I'm not gonna leave him, you know. The two of you descend for some time before you enter into a large room, eerily illuminated by green flaming torches. fastened to each of the wall. Okay. Green flaming torches. I forgot what created the green flames. What element, if you burn, create what gas do you have to burn to get green flames? Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember. But there is something. Was it copper? No, copper is not a gas. But like, what is something based off of copper? Was it something related to copper? I cannot remember at all. It's been so fucking long since I've studied chemistry, and I can't remember at all. But something. But it's definitely not in the flame torches, I'm guessing. I don't think the uh, necromancers have any idea about complex chemistry. All right. Near the far wall is a dais leading up to a large obsidian altar. Upon closer inspection, you see candles in golden bowl holders and a large golden bowl stained red inside. In fact, the entire altar is stained rusty red. Also upon the altar sits a book. The book is brown in what might well be mummified human skin with hand and finger bones embedded into the cover as though the book were in the grasp of death. The title is in infernal, but you don't recognize the word. Just before the altar is a narrow but deep pit. Shining in the lantern, you make out something gleaming white, a skeleton arm and hand. Reginald adds his light to yours, and you can now see a heap of body at various stages of decaying. The heap is crawling with rats and other wild scavengers. Alright. Sacrifice is the source of the stench, you mutter. I would bet my last copper that Kaiba's father and the rest of the caravan are among them. Reginald makes a face of disgust. I say we swiftly pilfer what we can from this unholy place and leave. As he says this, you notice a darkness that seems to be collecting behind the altar, as though the fabric between this world and the abyss is ripping apart before your own eyes. I think this is much more dangerous than goblins. So I better run rather than take what you can and run. No time, run. Run, you shout. Ooh, look at that. I mean, the head looks cool, but the hands look weird. Look at that. Like the hands are like drawn like a pencil. Let's just like sit down, just like stroke with a pencil in like 1 minute. Draw on the hands. I guess he found this image somewhere online and he just drew hands himself. All right. Run, you shout. Reginald snatches the book off the altar and turns around the stairs. You turn to flee. Why did he take the book? Reginald snatches the book off the altar. Didn't it have human skin and bones embedded in it? Why would you take a book like that? Reginald snatches the book off the altar and turns towards the stair. You turn to flee. Chilling cold encircles you, and there is hoarse laughter. You look back and see the darkness behind the altar has taken the shape of a man, a tall, spindly shadow with malevolent hollow pits for eyes. Your souls are mine, hisses the thing in infernal language, its voice echoing all around you. Demon, you shout. Up the stairs you bolt. Leaping 3 steps at a time, there is a wheezing snarl not far behind. You make it through the large iron door. The door is heavy and the hinges are tight. Nevertheless, you expect that if you hurl your weight against it, you can knock it shut. But this will take time and the demon is nearly upon you. No, let's try and close it. And these ads. Alright. I think closing it would be a better idea considering I don't know what the speed of the demon is. But I'm guessing if it got out, then it would certainly chase after me. So I would prefer to close it. You run into the room, turn back, slam your weight against the door, which grudgingly shuts with a whine and its hinges. Well, it almost shuts. Some debris have fallen in the way, keeping it open a crack. There is a snarl and the door shakes, but the arcane symbols drawn on the door appear to be walled meant to provide a barrier to spirits. You would like to open the door enough to kick the debris out of the way and shut it properly, but don't dare. Instead, you concentrate on running as fast as possible up the stairs after Reginald. As you reach the secret door in the library, there is a great bang that echoes from below, followed by a jubilant shout of freedom. Keep running, you shout to Reginald. He does not seem to need this encouragement as he spirits out the library door. You follow him out the library. and down several passageways. Rounding a corner, you are suddenly in a large, lavishly furnished room filled with soft light of dozens of candles. In the middle are three priests holding hands, surrounding what appears to be a pile of corpses. The men are chanting in infernal language. One of the corpses begins to twitch. Just to the side of the priest stands a massive ogre, his pale, white body and large, cold, dark eyes fixed on Reginald. Meanwhile, the corpse that has been twitching springs up to its feet. The alarming speed, you think you recognize him as one of the priests you had killed earlier. So they are reanimating the priest's corpse, but it was burned, didn't it? I mean, I guess the skeletal structure still remains, so that would do it. Definitely not attack with dagger. That's not a good idea. Blast them. I don't know if an ogre would die from that blast. I'm not sure what level of blast this is, but I feel like I'm like a novice sorcerer, maybe a little more than novice, like an apprentice sorcerer, because I can read in feral tongues. So I'm guessing I'm at least that, but still, I don't think I'm that powerful to be able to do all of that. But you know what? Charm the ogre. That seemed like a much better option. Achievement unlocked. Crushing move. You dominated. Alright. Mana decreased. Morale increased 4. Why did my morale go up? What's up with the morale? You point to the ogre and recite magical words, pausing now and then to blow kisses into the air. What? You point to the ogre, recite magical word, pausing now and then to blow kisses into the air? Really? That's how you charm someone? I mean, I guess well, I don't think even in real life that would work. This just sounds creepy. Alright. The ogre, who was about to swing his mighty club at Reginald, instantly turns his attention to you. You're not entirely sure, but you think you see a soft glow of ogre affection in those large, dark orbs. One of the priests throws a large candle at you, then begins reciting a spell. When the poorly aimed and weakly thrown candle misses you, the ogre slams the priest in his face with his club, smashing it like a melon. Yes, yes, you shout to the ogre, kill them all. The undead corpse springs at you, but the ogre grabs it by the leg in midair and crashes it to the floor. The ogre and the zombie then grapple each other, clawing, biting, and strangling. Reginald has since gathered his wits and slays another priest with his sword. The two of you fall upon the remaining priest the old medieval way, cutting and stabbing with blades. Soon that poor fool is nothing more than a bloody mess on the floor. You look over and see that the ogre has dismembered the now motionless undead priest, but in the process, however, it has been gravely wounded. His neck has been ripped open and purplish blood is pumping out. Looks at you pleadingly before collapsing. As you and Reginald catch your breath, from somewhere in the castle echoes the distinct raspy cackle of a dark spirit with the hellish eyes. A chill goes up your spine. You do not want to tangle with that thing again. You suspect neither your spells or blades can harm it. Perhaps it would be wise to run from this cursed place. On the other hand, maybe you could afford to take a few seconds to search the bodies of your recently fallen enemies. But there's still the matter of the merchant's daughter, Kaiba. Let's search the bodies first. It was hard and dangerous work killing these villains. Now it's time to profit, because I heard that he said in the distance, or like it's not even in visual sight just yet, or it's not like around the corner or anything. But I think there's time enough to loot. It was hard and dangerous work killing those enemies, killing those villains, and now it's time to profit. There's plenty of time for rescuing and running later, you hope. Although you allow yourself only a little time of corpse searching, you find 3 golden unholy symbols and several pouches of gold. Just then you hear a blood-curdling scream not far away. Before you can react, you see Kaiba, her eyes bloodshot, run into the candlelight. Gods, you must flee, a monster comes. Alright. The 3 of you run. The ears. You complain as you run through the castle entrance. You are referring to the goblin corpses from which you could harvest trophies. No number of rubbery ears are worth your soul. Well, that is true. Alright. Despite your present anxiety, this strikes you as somewhat funny, and you plan to remind him of his words later if you survive. For now, you do as your friend advises and keep running. The 3 of you retreat to the forest. You're all exhausted, and so once safely away from that cursed ruin, reasonably certain no evil follows, you make camp because you are still in goblin country. You decide against the campfire. Instead, you will have to just do with the sleeping roll in your backpack. It is rather cold night and you notice Kaiba carries nothing but the ripped clothing on her back. What do you do? Offer her your blanket? I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, I'm also cold. I guess I can share the blanket, but I don't know if she would like to share the blanket with just a random dude. But I did save her, so I don't know if she would. I don't know, man. I think she should. I mean, it's like I'm just like sharing the blanket for like bodily heat. It's not like I'm hugging her to sleep. I'll share the blanket. You kid, naughty naughty. Morale decreases one, but I get 4 life and 4 mana. Okay, that's a good trade. That's a good trade. I don't care if morale goes by one, but 4 life and 4 mana, both of those, and that's a good trade. You can. I'm tempted to give you a morale point for a bold choice, but unfortunately, this scene does not play out that way. You invite Kaiba to share your blanket with her. She cocks her head, gives you a suspicious look, and politely declines. Reginald offers his own blanket. She smiles at him, takes the blanket with a curtsy, and goes off to find a tree to curl up around. It would have been warmer still with me, you think to yourself. Alas, not everyone can be as practical as you are. True that. Ragnall is cold anyway. He decides to take the first watch. You're awoken well before dawn. You loan him your blanket as you sit up to keep an eye out for danger. You settle into your watch and your eyes wander to the daughter. Sleeping merchant's daughter, yeah. A silver of the moonlight has a sliver of moonlight has escaped through branches above and illuminated her delicate nose. You decide that it's a pretty little nose. For whatever reason, this leads you to wonder if even your pinky would fit into one of her tiny nostrils. You chuckle to yourself as you imagine the expression on her face at waking with your finger in her nose. What type of fuck shit am I thinking about? Like, what is my character thinking about? This is fucking disgusting bullshit. What's up with that? Okay. And then you feel a pang of guilt for imagining this. Usually pang of pain is used more than pang of guilt. Never really seen pang of guilt being used like this. Young maiden has just lost a father. I should not even make sport of her, even in my mind, you think. It's obvious that you need something to occupy your thoughts in order to stay awake. Alright, another checkpoint. You wait until Ragnall begins snoring before you pull your spell book out of your backpack. Ragnall hates it when you study magic while you're supposed to be keeping watch. But you need something to distract you from the cold. With flint and tinder, you light a small single candle to read by. The arcane text that you have read 1,000 times over, but differently every pass through provides a sort of familiar comfort, a comfort you are grateful for in this dark forest. Soon you're lost in study. After some time, you can never keep track of time when immersed in magical lore. You exclaim, "Yes, danger?" Reginald rolls over, his eyes slit. He is only half awake. I understand invisibility. I can turn invisible at last. This spell has eluded me for so long. At least, I think I understand. You say as you point down at the arcane symbols in your book. Go to sleep. Reginald slurs and then falls head back for and then his head falls back to the ground. This is goblin country. I'm on watch. I dare not sleep, you say, but Reginald does not hear you. He's snoring again. Um, it turns out that you are not so vigilant after all. At some point, you gaze at the candle flame, you fall asleep, okay? Well, that's a bad idea, but whatever. Awaken, someone is near. Reginald whispers as he shakes you. You sit up groggily. It is early morning. At first, all you hear are singing birds. Then, sure enough, voices trickle in through the trees. Not goblins, not in the daytime, you think. They approach upon the trail. Kaiba says, huddling in a blanket. Through the trail, then. But keep quiet, says Reginald. Why? Why not stay still and let them pass, says Kaiba. Because we're adventurers. Alright. You whisper fiercely as you gather your backpack. Refusing to be left by herself, Kaiba follows you as you creep up to the edge of the trail. Thank the god she's not sniffing or otherwise making a racket. You have just taken up your position in the brush when you see the first of a column of priests of Nerul. Several of them are speaking casually, loudly, even as though they are not the goblins, as though they and not the goblins own this part of the woods. As they pass by, you see in the middle of the column a large stretcher made of thick wooden branches and rough spun fabric. It's carried by eight priests. Upon the stretcher is a pure white horse, whose legs are bound with rope. Not a horse, but a unicorn. You have not seen one before, but the long, softly glowing horn is a dead giveaway. Okay. Several meters behind the main party are a tall man and a woman. You know the young woman, or to be precise, you know of her. She's a beautiful. She is the beautiful Lady Igraine, daughter of Lord Igraine. Her father holds a keep and an estate. Her father holds a keep and estate some distance from town. Her family comes to Ring City for annual tournaments. More than once you have gazed wistfully. I don't know what wistfully is. I have no idea what that means. Wistfully at her from the cheap seats far in the corner of the jousting area. Allow me to take a moment to. I think jousting is that thing where you run with horses with a lance and you hit the enemy on the shoulder with it so that they fall off. I think that's jousting. I'm not sure though. Allow me to take a moment to apologize to those readers who in a real life prefer to gaze wistfully at handsome men, since you are playing the part of a heterosexual male wizard and are now gazing most wistfully at this woman. You're disappointed, somewhat horrified though, not because she's a woman, but because she is in fact an Aronian priest. Oh, that is hilarious. That's a good way to fuck with SJW. So like, oh man, why can't it be homosexual character for once? Like, nah, fam, this is clearly heterosexual, dude. So like, everyone writes this story. If a heterosexual dude writes a story, they usually make the characters heterosexual, you know? And that's hilarious. I like this line. You're disappointed and somewhat horrified though, not because she is a woman, but because she is a Neuralian priest. That's good. That's good. And the man with her you recognize after a moment, and the man with her you wonder. After a moment, you recognize him as her father, Lord Igraine. To think a man of such an illustrious line would get mixed up with this evil lord. Anyway, back to Lady Igraine. Her jet black hair is pulled back to reveal a most shapely long neck. Her flawless skin glows in the dawn light. It is as though the sun itself, desperate to touch her, has found a path through the forest canopy. The golden unholy symbols of Nerul hanging over her bosom contrast nicely with the large brown eyes. We cannot go back there, not yet, Lord Igraine is saying. Why would we go back ever? That ruin offers no decent bath. Lady Igraine replies, there is some unfinished business. However, it can wait. Lord Igraine says as he absently pats the pocket of his immense fur-lined overcoat. The old one will move on from the castle Avernus to seek the living. Let us hope he does not exact revenge upon us. After the column has passed out of earshot, Regnwald says, a unicorn was it? Where did they find such a creature? Okay. And what do they plan to do with it? I wager they do not simply plan to feed her apples and comb her mane. You ask. Oh, wait, now Reginald replies, okay. Her? Is it a lady unicorn, you ask? Oh, I did not look in that decisive region. Reginald blushes. What's there to blush about, dude? Who cares what the fucking sex of the unicorn is even? Okay, such craven and pathetic what the fuck am I saying? Such craven and pathetic simpletons. Kaiba sheathes as she glares after the column of the priest, disappearing around a bend. I propose we tie each of them down and cut off one finger at a time. We'll bind their wounds to ensure they do not lose too much blood and fall unconscious. I will take their eyelids. Well, then didn't take their eyelids. Why is she talking about torture all of a sudden? I think there are way too many of them, considering there are like 8 carrying the fucking... let me count. 8 were carrying what is that? 8 are carrying the unicorn, right? And other than the unicorn, what else is there? There's the 2, Lady Igraine and the Father Lord Igraine. So that's 10. And I'm guessing there are a few more to protect the caravan, like 4 more, I'm guessing. So as an estimate, I would say there's at least 14 people there. So yeah, I don't think two people with combat and combat capabilities and one person with nothing is a good idea in any way, shape, or form. All right. I propose. Okay. I do not think all of that will be necessary. You interrupt. There are perhaps 2 dozen of them. So there's 24 of them. God damn. Okay, my estimate was way off because like I did not have enough information. But 2 dozen, that's a lot. 24. There are perhaps 2 dozen of them. I do not think we have time for all that work. You and Regnal exchange perplexed looks, and the Regnal whispers in your ear, young maidens love unicorns. Kaiba regards the two of you with hard eyes. We should attack them now and make them pay for their transgression. There are too many, Regnal protests, even with the element of surprise. I thought you said you were adventurers. Adventurers, not idiots. Regnal replies, his pride clearly hurt. There are only 3 of us, and they are slow by their burden. We should cut through the woods, get ahead of them. We shall ambush them as they come by. Or we could follow them from a distance, learn more about a quarry, and perhaps strike at a more opportune time, Regnal says. And perhaps they will notice us following them. Perhaps they are journeying to some wild fortification that we cannot hope to storm. I say we ambush them now while they're in the open. I think we should follow them. I don't think I mean, both of us can take down that many of them. Like, I don't think that would work out very well. All right, so let's boost stats. What does that do? Right. I have my luck, so I'm gonna send it like it's reset to you to 3, and you go back to story, start over, go back to just. Okay, so I can actually, this is a boost stats where you can spend some of your luck to get things like life and mana. So I'm getting some mana spelled wrong, and I'm getting some life. I can't spend the last 3 of them because I have no idea why, but they're not spendable for whatever reason. Maybe you have to spend money or something to get it unlocked or something. I have no idea. And perhaps you will notice us following. Okay, so I'm gonna follow them. I'm not about to ambush them with just like day 12 and V2. Like everyone have to take out 12 of them. I mean, maybe with a spell I could possibly take out few of them, like 4 or 5. Regnal could take out like 1 or 2 with a sword, but I don't know, man. Why is our once demure, frightened merchant's daughter suddenly wishing to play the role of a bloodthirsty battle tactician? You wonder even as you say, dear Kaiba, we will mete out justice to these villains for the death. I think instead of following them, I should just run back to the capital and tell them that the Nerul priest's about. Instead of following these guys. Dear Kaiba will mete out justice to these villains for the death of your father, among other countless evil deeds in due time. You're not trained in the art of war as Regnald and I. Even if we set a successful ambush, the numbers are simply too great for 2 men. There are 3 of us, Kaiba says fiercely as she thrusts out her palm. A blade for me, certainly adventures are more weapon than they need. Alright, so she's asking for a blade. Regnald shrugs and unbuckles a dagger belt, hands it to her. Even in this scurry off to a fortification of some kind, you will take them. And I have the trust of the captain guard of Ring City. He will not suffer evil so close, says Regnald. The 3 of you set off after a priest. Okay, it's recording. Okay. The 3 of you set off after. Hold on, let me just reconfigure my mic positioning. I think it's way too close to my mouth, so I'm just gonna back it up a little. Right. Where was I? The 3 of you set off after the priest, while keeping a good distance away, out of sight most of the time. Luckily, the party is so noisy that tracking them is trivial. After a few hours, your quarry leaves the trail and hikes over a field. You now have to follow a bit closer in order not to lose them. Soon they stop at a hill with a large slab of granite at the top. They set the unicorn down on the slab surrounded and then begin chanting. The chant is infernal, but you can make out a few words from there. They are chanting a prayer. You think something about forgiveness. I'm not Nerul priest, but I do not think this bodes well for the unicorn. They mean to sacrifice him. Unicorn is a hymn. Uh, why is he so concerned? Why is everyone so concerned? The fucking sex of the fucking unicorn. The unicorn is a him? Yagnal asks. Yes, I observed is a when they carried him by our hiding spot. Irrelevant, you say. Yes, someone. Thank you. Word of reason, voice of reason, and all of this fish market bullshit. You say in exasperation. Our enemies stand in open and high ground. We cannot approach unnoticed. Allow me to lure them to you. Allow me to lure them to you, to the forest edge. I shall play the part of a frightened lost girl. They will be overjoyed to recapture what they lost. You can then attack them from your hiding place, says Kaiba. No, my lady, they may harm you, says Reginald. I will disembowel them. She says, brandishing the dagger lent her. I understand your anger for what they did to your father, but do not die a fool, says Reginald. A fool am I? Kaiba asks. Her face is such a visage of malice that you and Reginald both take a step back. Reginald stutters. Perhaps stealth would serve us better. You interject. I might turn invisible, creep into the midst and cut the unicorn free. My friend, surely your powers are best spent spewing forth gouts of deadly fire, not sneaking about like a rat. Fire and steel, simple, effective, says Reginald. So I have three options. Use fire and steel to attack 24 people. I don't think that's a good idea. Using her as bait is not a good idea. I mean, think about it. Like, if you use her as bait, maybe 2 or 3, like 4 of them would come after her. I mean, I don't think even 4 would be required. Like 1 or 2 or 3 maybe at max would come after her to grab her. Like, we kill them and then what? We still have to approach the hill. There's literally no way to approach the hill even then. We can't use the same tact again and again, you know. So I think using the mana and becoming invisible is better. Turn invisible. Sneaky. Perhaps you cast your quickly you cast your spell and creep up the hills. The evil priests are bunched together closely in a circle around the slab of granite. So you have to take care. It is critical that you do not touch anyone because that will break your invisibility illusion. Your spell book is very explicit about this point. Pass not even like a breeze, for even the wind is felt by man. Become nothing and nothing will know you. You recall the spell instruction saying, that's a beautiful 9. One priest shifts to one side and you have enough room to pass without so much as brushing their long sleeves. Although you have to avoid touching anyone, so you cannot help making some measure of noise with your footfalls. Fortunately, their chanting deafens them to your passage. Now that you have passed into the inner circle, you can make out the words in feral language. We praise you, Ancient One, you are free servants. Slaves to your will, we ask not for mercy, we ask only to serve. Okay. Over and over they repeat this. One of the hooded men look familiar. Belfour, the farmer. He comes into Ring City to sell his apples every harvest. We know him because he always gets drunk and makes trouble. The guards have learned to keep an eye on him when he has coin in his pocket. You would never have imagined he was mixed up dark powers. He was mixed up with dark powers though. A few other look familiar too. Although you can't place them, there must be locals of Ring City. You are now near the unicorn and you have your dagger out. You have a couple of options. You could simply cut the unicorn free. You could cut the uniform free and start the fight. So you could, or you could try to scare the priest first. Ooh. That would be kind of cool. Like if I could make like a giant skeleton skull head come out like a wall or something, like screaming at them, and they'll like get distracted or cut the unicorn loose real quick. I don't think it's a good idea to cut it loose while um, everything's going on. To use an illusion. Mana decreases too. My mana is super low. I don't think I can fight with this low of a mana. Can I? I can't reverse my spell changes. God damn it. Alright. Fair enough. You know that you will cast a more realistic illusion if you pick something you have seen before. Demon from the altar room. Oh, it's a difficult choice. I don't think there would be. Let's see, let's see. Girl from the castle tower. I think they know that she exists there, so they won't exactly be amazed. Then they would be like, she would never leave that place, or she can't leave that place, or something like that. I don't think that's a good idea. Demon from the altar room, but they won't be as much distracted, but they will be more concentrated. Even like, oh, the demon has finally come, and like we ask for forgiveness or servitude or whatever. I think goblins would be the best. Goblins like are messy and loud and shit. So I'm gonna use goblins. Stat booster available. You can spell luck points to previous stat and possibly save your life and increase your score. Okay. Let me boost the stats then. I would like mana, please. Wait, what? It says. All right. Life decreases by 4. Why did my life go down? Goblins materialize out of the woods, charge up the hills, snapping and yipping. The morning sun glints off of your spear tips and sword blades. A nice touch, you think to yourself. A priest raises the alarm and the other turns toward the threat. Goblins in daylight, Lord Agrain says. He's standing across the marble slab from you. Other priests begin chanting spells and the hiss of the death magic slices through the air into the onrushing horde. You try to have the goblins react realistically. Several fall as the rays tip through them. Nevertheless, you know you cannot keep this ruse up. One priest jumps off the marble slab looming of the unicorn, presumably to get a clear shot at the goblin. There is some witchcraft at work here. He shouts over the canopy. Now is your chance to set unicorn free, but if you do not keep the concentration illusion, your goblins will soon distort and simply disappear. Freeing a heavily tied down and struggling unicorn is not as easy as you hope. Worse, you touch the unicorn with your hand and blades in the process, so cutting his bond, so you are unable to hold your invisibility illusion. I'm visible, you realize. The priest standing on the slab sees you, snarls and kicks you in the side of the head with his spiked boot. Blood streaming down your neck, you push his leg aside as you tries to regain his balance. You slash the remaining bonds holding down the unicorn. Unicorn scrambles up to his feet, knocking the priest aside. As the priest falls, the unicorn uh, gores him in the back with his horn. You will pay for your iniquities, the unicorn announces. Let's boost survival stats. How do I boost survival stats? I already did that from up there. Alright, let's continue. My life decreased even further. Man, if I didn't have as much health as I picked up before, I don't think this would have ended good. You nearly shout in surprise. You've never seen a horse talk. His horsey lips do not falter about like human, rather his mouth simply opens and the words spill out. When the priest glares at you, begins chanting a spell. Fortunately, the unicorn gores him before he finishes. You feel a sharp pain in your shoulder. Just behind you is a Nerulian priest. His face contorted in murderous cheer. He pulls out his dagger back for another strike. Unicorn kicks his hind leg into your attacker's ribs, sending him through the air. Unicorns are rather useful, you think. Oh, that's good. Kill the beast, shouts Lord Igraine from amidst the other priests. Spells are cast and the air fills with hissing dark bolts of energy. He took behind the stone as one... Oh, sorry. My hand slipped and my phone kind of dropped. Okay. Man, this chapter is also fucking long. How long is this one chapter? Like, I recorded for like 1 hour 11 minutes yesterday. I uploaded 1 hour 11 minutes yesterday, and now like I did 22 minutes in like 10 minutes. Like, I'm 32 minutes already in this. So it's been like an hour 40 minutes already, and I still haven't reached the end. Jeez. Okay, kill the beast, blah blah blah, hissing swords and spells. Peeking over the stone, you see several dark bolts strike the unicorn and whines in pain. Most of the remaining priests are now so focused on the unicorn they don't even notice Reginald joining the rear of their fray. Swinging his sword with a grim smile on his face, somehow they're oblivious to the butchery behind them. In Nerul's name, die, the Lady Igraine shouts from her father's side as she sends forth a crackling ray into the side of the unicorn's head. The magnificent horse crashes to the ground. Behind, someone shouts. Now the priests turn their attention to Reginald. He cannot stand against so many. You charge dagger in hand, shouting like a madman. With you striking from one side, Reginald on the other side, the remnants of the priest scatter in a flurry of stabs. You cut down a final one before he reaches the words. Shadow falls across your path. You whirl about its Kaiba. Her ragged dress is botched with blood. The dagger Ragnall rent her drips with gore of fresh kill. She has a manic smile on her face. Revenge, revenge for my captivity, she claims. She then runs off, presumably to hunt down more fleeing priests. You're considering joining her when you catch a glimpse of Lady Igraine's long, beautiful hair disappearing into the forest below. You rush into the forest to investigate. Sitting propped against a fallen log only a few meters away is Lord Igraine. His glassy, lifeless eyes stare down at his entrails spilling out upon his lap. There are symbols drawn in blood on a large stone nearby. Kneeling beside him is Lady Igraine. She is searching his pockets. Where is it? She shouts at her father and then slaps her face. Where is what? You ask as you take a step closer. She looks up at you with surprise and smiles. Gods be praised, you saved me from my cursed father and his minions. What? So she was not part of this, all of this? Saved you from them. You're not a priestess of death, are you not? You ask. You fantasized about approaching Lady Igraine more times than you can count, but you never expected your first word to be these. No, I was but a slave to my father, she says, her father contorted in rage. She then smiles down at the mangled corpse next to her. Now he's gone and I'm free, but we must not dally here. Unruel, a monster from another world, stalks nearby. Oh, that demon's name is Unruel. Okay. She points at one of the bloody symbols scrawled on a nearby rock. The symbol is in feral. You look back to Ragnall chasing hacking priest in the grassy fields below. Quickly gather your friends and follow me, Lady Igraine says urgently. Oh boy. There's actually an option to charm her, but I do not have the magic for it. Man, that fucking sucks. I might try this part again. I mean, like, go back a few options. I don't think she is. I don't even think charm her would work. I don't think she is actually was controlled. She attacked the. I mean, if she was being controlled or she was a slave, then she wouldn't use like a full force while attacking the unicorn. But she screamed "die" and launched like a huge bolt at him, because of which the unicorn took major damage. So I'm gonna attack her. Morale increases 1. You witness this woman strike down a unicorn with black magic. It will take more than beautiful smile to raise the foul deeds, you think. Forget the others, let us flee together. Show me the way to safety, you exclaim to the Lady Igraine. She flashes you a huge smile and turns to lead you. She must have heard you rushing up behind her, because she takes only a few steps before turning to face you, snarling, "In Nerul's name, I..." You interrupt her spell with a stab just above her collarbone. She opens her mouth, sprout blood again and again. You stab until she lies on the ground motionless. Alright. What a grisly and sad ending for the two of us, you think, looking down at Lady Igraine. Of course, there has never been a two of you, but your dreams were real enough. He sounds like a weeb or something. Like my wife who is real, alright? She's real to me. But alright. But your dreams were real enough. Sighing, you wonder, she has been looking for something of her father. What was it? Just then Ragnall runs up to you, breathing hard. The priests mean to regroup. I hear them calling for one another in the wood. We best move on. He looks down at Lady Igraine. Is that? Yes, it is. You reply. We may need a drink tonight, Ragnall says. You nod and then point to Kaiba, who is now running around the grassy hills, crying and tripping as though in panic. Ragnall shakes his head. Only moments ago she was dashing through the field, wielding the dagger of mine like a bloodthirsty assassin. Now who is she? Is this the way of a woman? You shrug and just jog out onto the grass. You take Kaiba by the wrist and try and calm her. Ragnall announces that he will search just a few bodies before fleeing. No use in letting these vultures swallow out our treasure, he says cheerfully. It's not safe to stay out here in the open. We must not dally. You warn your friends, ignoring Kaiba's attempt to pull away from your gas. Just then the unicorn stands up and his legs are shaking and his eyes are bulging. You thought he was dead. No, not this, the creature bellows. He pauses for a moment, then screams triumphantly, "This world is mine." And then, uttering this pronouncement, the unicorn gallops towards the granite slab, proceeds to bash his own head into it. You hear the horn snap with a crack. Blood splatters with the white rock as the creature shatters its skull over and over. Gods, why? No, Ragnall stammers. Kaiba commences screaming with renewed vigor. After a few moments of self-mutilation, Unicorn with his jagged stub of a horn turns and charges on the hill towards you. All three of you shout as you run with abandon. When you reach the woods, you look back to see the unicorn thrashing at the grass, um, screeching in an unearthly tone. Evil magic, Ragnall says. You stare in horror and realize that this magic is beyond your understanding. Motioning for the others to follow, you say, "We have pressed good fortune long enough. Let us return to Ring City in the company of good people." The three of you set off towards the Ring City, your beloved home. You and Ragnall are grateful to have some company for the lengthy walk. The two of you have long since exhausted your trove of stories, can nearly predict what each other will say. Kaiba, on the other hand, is full of stories of faraway places, creatures and magic you have never heard of before. A merchant's daughter must really get around. As That sounds kind of dirty for some reason to me. A merchant daughter must really get around. But clearly not, but you know. Um, As it turns out, Kaiba's family has recently moved to Ring City, and her brother Jordan tends the candle shop there. Nevertheless, she bombards you with questions about the city. She seems to want to know everything about who's who in the noble family down to the local gossip. The time passes quickly. By nightfall, the tall gates of the city rise above you. The guards, typically a suspicious lot, usher the three of you in without hesitation. They've known you and Ragnall for years. Ragnall was once even a member of the guard. Once inside, you immediately head to your loft. There are rest where I'm not going to the guard chamber or like whatever they're called. Like I don't think there would be a police station here, but like the head guard or something like that to tell him that there's like Nerul priests around. There you rest and apply healing ointments to your wounds. You hide the majority of your loot under your floorboard. By the following evening, you are refreshed and feel stronger and more powerful than ever. You toss a handful of gold coins into your money pouch and meet up with Kaiba and Ragnald at the Leering Virgin Inn for some much deserved celebration. The three of you feast and drink and tell story, exaggerated of course, to the inn regulars, and otherwise thoroughly enjoy yourself. There is no justice, there is only law, there is only power. You quote from the first page of the book, beyond bound in human skin, that you lifted from the sacrificial altar in the Inverness castle. That is true. I mean, I guess. I mean, what is even justice? Do tell me, like, what is good and what is evil? Like, how should I put this? Who was it? I completely forgot the name. Was it MacIver? Or was it someone else? I'm forgetting. There was a socialist back in the day. Sociologist back in the day. I'm forgetting his name. I think it was MacIver, but I'm not sure. He said something about collective consciousness. He said, yeah, it was MacIver, wasn't it? There was Roscoe and there was MacIver. Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure it was MacIver, but don't quote me on that. But I think MacIver was the one who said that a society is created through collective consciousness, and these collective consciousness, these moral facts, they hold a society together and maintain its functioning. So what does that mean? Is that there is no good or evil. Like to me and to you, rape is bad. Like rape is not okay in any way, shape, or form. And maybe, or like murder is not okay in any way, shape, or form for us, because we have lived in a society where most people think in that sort of manner, that rape is bad, that murder is bad, because it adheres it prevents the proper functioning, the smooth functioning of a society. As a group, you cannot function if like you're free to murder and rape as you please. So that was what he was talking about. The collective consciousness is what makes a society. But that also means that there could be a society like what was that movie? The Predator, the Predator movies, all of them with Arnold Schwarzenegger, whatever, and all of the other ones. The Predator society is shown to be more Darwinian. They're shown as a Darwinian society in which the strong and the fittest is who rules over all of them. Doesn't have to be the strongest, doesn't have to be anything else, but they should be able to lead and they should be able to kill. That's what the entire thing about the society is for them. That's why teenagers, all of the predators you see in the series coming down on the planet and attacking things, they're usually all of just teenagers coming over to do the inauguration ceremony or like growing up ceremony type thing. So what I'm trying to say here is that there is no justice because there is no good or evil. If there's no definition for good and evil, then there's no justice because in a society like ours, as I said, rape and murder is bad, but in their society, murder is good because the strong is one who leads everyone, the hunter leads everyone. So in different societies, in different collective consciousness, what people consider to be good or bad is the word consider to be good or bad. There is no objective morality. There's only subjective morality. You can The reason why we think there's an objective morality is because people who believe in God, they think God thinks of it as objective morality. Or second, people because people live in a society and collective consciousness considers things such as good or bad. So I'm not saying you can't say good or bad, but because of that particular reason, because there's no absolute good or absolute bad, because there's no proper definition for it, I prefer to not use the term pure or evil for the most part. I do not use the terms pure and evil. I barely ever use them. Let me just say that I am not a big fan of say using the terms pure or evil because they tend to signify a more rigid form of good or bad. Something may be good, look at this way. Like if there's a town A and town B, like kingdom A and kingdom B. Now kingdom B attacks kingdom A. So to kingdom A, kingdom B is bad because they're attacking them. And to kingdom B, this act is good because their territory will increase or they will get more resources which they can use to further their country, their people, and prosperity can be brought. This is why this is the one of the major things that need to be considered when talking about good and evil. I mean, bad, good and bad, pure and evil. Okay, you got from yes. Sounds just like what a zombie raising no good. Uh, Gorgon's ass would ride. What? Okay, sounds like what a zombie raising no good Gorgon's ass would ride. Ragnall says with slurred speech. Three of you are alone at a table in a corner of an inn, as all of the others patrons have grown bored of your boasting, tall tales, and gone to bed. You page through the book. Ha! What's this? You exclaim. This speaks of the Baroness Irulan lying with Sir Roger of Chestfold. Evil gossip no more, Kaiba says, and then takes a swig of wine. Who is it? Baroness Irulan lying with Sir Roger of Chestfold. Well, the account seems rather detailed. You read further. And oh, the guildmaster Franz Percales has been skimming gold from the mint, melting the coin down and recasting them with more copper. Ha! Aha! I thought that the coins from the money changer were light. Ragnall begins rummaging in his pocket. What's that? A book of dirty secret? Kaiba asked, pointed at the book accusingly. I rather think it is. Why? This silly little book might be worth more than the rest of our loot put together, you say. And you think the Lady Igraine might have been looking for that book, says Ragnall. He cast his eyes down. What? What am I saying? What am I reading? What am I thinking? I'm thinking about completely different things. I'm still thinking about the good and evil debate while reading this. So I'm kind of confused as what I'm saying. He cast his eyes down at the table. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to bring her to mind. Man, why did he use such a convoluted line? Oh, sorry, didn't mean to bring her up. Was that so difficult to do? I'm gonna assume bring her up would be the next thing, but bring her to mind. Really bring her to the table. I'm gonna still try that charm option if I can go back. You put your hand to reassure your friend. It is well that I learned to not judge a woman by her face. You say, doing your best to give a convincing shrug. I had heard House Igraine has fallen on hard times. Desperation leads to an evil path, does it not? Ragnall nods vigorously, sloshing his drink. What's that photo down there? The glassy eyes expression on your friends' faces is the last thing you see before a blackout. When you regain awareness, you're standing over a bed shouting, "No, Reginald, you can't die, please." You're pushing down on Reginald's neck, attempting to stem the flow of blood. It is no use. He is deathly still on the blood-soaked bed. There is no pulse. What the fuck? He died? That's Reginald? Why the fuck is he dead? And why am I over him trying to prevent him from dying even though he's dead? I mean, I guess, yeah. But still, what the fuck? Why did he die all of a sudden? And those are Neral runes? Feral runes? Gods no, you shout and run out of the room. You're now in what you recognize as the hallway of the leering Virgin Inn. You shout for help and look at him helplessly. From here you can see bloody fingers painting on the wall around Reginald. Runes in Inferal that appear to be some sort of spell used to harvest power from the soul. There are footsteps from behind, and you turn to see a city guard and an old man approaching. Seize that one. The old man croaks as he points at you. He is the murderer. What the fuck? Why am I a murderer? What the fuck? That's bullshit. I'm not a fucking murderer. Okay, and I think it's the book. That's the biggest issue. I shouldn't have. Reginald should not have taken the book. If he did not take the book, I would have ended up with a better ending. Man, I'm sure it was the book, and but it could be something else. So I'm not really sure. But it could be that the book is in his room. So I was taken over and I killed him in a controlled state, and someone took the book. Alright, to be continued. Show stats of a volume. So let's see what we got. Wizard's Choice Volume 1 survives to the end of the Wizard's Choice. 10 points. Alright. You have achieved 15% of the points possible in the Wizard's Choice series. Feedback so far. At least you have done something. However, this software is unimpressed. Untouchable. Finished any volume in the library without ever dying. Okay, so I guess you could die in this. Well, I guess there is life, so I guess you could die. Whatever. What we got? We made it to the end. Well played. Yet only a few hours tales of your deeds have spread throughout the Ring City. Your total score is 870, earning you the title of Wealthy and Cunning Adventurer. Okay, so the morale was 14, and there's a 30x multiplier, so 420. Man, I was just so close. I was 30 points away from Loaded with Coin and Slayer of Evil. I think if I would have searched in the chamber where there was the evil spirit was forming, then maybe could have gotten more gold and scored higher. But I think there could have been chance that I would have just died, so I'm not really sure. Hey, you survived. Okay. Alright, so man, these fuckers out there. And why do I live in this goddamn house? Like, oh my god, Demon, shut up. What is that? What is even that? What are you? And these kids. He's gonna stand right outside my house, isn't he? And that, man, fuck this place. Well, I'm going to be moving in a few months, so hopefully the new place is not as loud, because I'm gonna flip if it's as loud as this one. But okay, so that's the end of the first chapter. We're gonna continue with the next chapter at some point. I need to study as well. My exams are coming, so yeah, my college exams are coming. Alright, so I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna see if I can go back to the one choice. If I can, I'm gonna continue. Otherwise, we're gonna end it here. Let me check. Alright, so I came back to this choice. There's another choice I want to see. The goblins. The illusion spell I casted, there was the goblins that I chose. And this is the girl in the tower and the demon. So I'm gonna try both of those after this to see what kind of end would I get with them. But for now, I'm gonna try and charm her. This is when the Lady Igraine said, "Follow me." So I killed her because and I still don't think she's going to surrender or flee with her is a good option, because when I came near her, she said bye in the name of Nerul, I something, whatever the spell was. But because she said Nerul, I'm guessing that she was just evil, not under the slavery magic or whatever. So I'm gonna charm her. I'm trying to charm her. Achievement unlocked. Seducer. Bonk chicka bonk. Okay, let's see. Mana decreases 3. Right? Life decreases 2. You point at Lady Igraine and recite the magical word, uh, inspirited with blowing kisses in the air. Unfortunately, while you are doing this, she is casting a spell of her own, a not so kissy one. A dark ray springs from her hand just as you complete your spell. Her aim is poor, but the ray still strikes you in the arm. You feel cold emanating through you as you sink to the ground. Morale increases. No, she claims as she rushes over to you. I'm so sorry, my love. Now she is holding you in her arms and cradling your head. She bends down and kisses you. You forget the cold and close your eyes. She might be evil, but her lips are like honey, you think. Well, that's good. That's good, man. This is how you pick up ladies, everyone. You just use spells and charms on them to break their mind and bend their memories according to your will. Or, you could just do the normal way, the Bill Cosby way, just Bill Cosby them. So yeah, you realize yourself to the ecstasy of the moment, but your trance is interrupted by a shout followed by a whoomp. Reginald shout followed by a whoomp? What the fuck is a whoomp? Reginald stands above you, his sword dripping. Lady Igraine lies nearly bloody and motionless. Reginald, you shout. Gods, are you well? Reginald asks, did the succubus drain the life from you? I saw her strike you with the death magic and then suck upon you. I am alive. My soul's intact, you say weakly. I pray I served you from I pray I saved you from any perversions. I suffered no perversions. You mutter sadly as you dare. One last glance at the beautiful corpse. You stand up, grab Ragnar's shoulder for balance. Ragnar looks down at the body. Oh, it is Lady Igraine. Remember how you used to speak of her? I am sorry. You smile weakly. We may need a drink tonight. Okay. Okay, so this is just the same. That was funny. Okay, that was funny. That was good. Let's try that again, but this time around, no, we got the charm ending and everything. I got so basically she dies anyway. You just get a kiss. So if you have saved enough charm points, you can get that honey-like kiss from her before she dies. Okay, that's kind of grim, but I got the kiss, so yay! I thought she would be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then it's just gonna rub my head or something. But well, we got a kiss, so that's good. That's good. That's good. Let's go back. Let's go back and last checkpoint. Yes. Here, I'm just gonna run through these to get to the point of the illusion. Follow them. Turn invisible. Use the illusion. This time I'm gonna do the girl ghost from the castle tower. The little girl ghost was certainly frightening, and if these villains have spent any time in castle awareness, they will know her, you think. You remember her clearly enough to replicate her in an illusion, and have the clever idea to make the little girl emerge from the unicorn. She has a menacing scowl on her face. This is a collective gasp from the piece and then shouting, "What? Why is she here?" You hear from one. "Back to your chamber, girl," shouts another. The congregation backs up a few steps. Their apparent leader, Lord Igraine, chants a prayer in infernal. "In the name of Merul, I command you not to harm any of the living here. Go back to your father's tower and be silent." Father's tower. You cannot maintain your illusion long. You have the girl swoop towards them with her mouth agape as though to swallow them, like the grudge bitch. All right. The priest in her path shout and screech in terror as they duck down. Meanwhile, you slash the unicorn bond with your dagger. Now they're no longer concentrating on the illusion. The girl vanishes just before reaching one of the covering priests. Freeing a heavily tied down unicorn is not as easy as you hope. You hear someone snarl, a dark hissy strikes from the side, cold spreads. Quickly, you slash at the remaining bonds and blah blah blah. You nearly shout in surprise. Okay, yeah, this is the same thing. Okay. All right, so last one, demon. So the I think either one. Was thinking the girl was working out. I think the illusion one just does not work. The illusion is just not good enough. I think the demon. Let's try the demon. If that does not work, then I'm guess the while the illusion part would work technically, but you will have to have some high stats. If you already have taken a lot of damage and do not have enough mana, do not go for this path at this point. I have somehow avoided death up until now and using too much stamina, I mean mana. So I'm guessing that you would get you not end up very well if you end up using too much mana, and you won't have 3 mana left to get that sweet honey kiss from Lady Igraine before she dies. I still find that very grim. I was thinking, like, she kissed me. Okay, yes, fuck yeah, I got the kiss. And now what? I mean, is the spell going to last forever or something? Is it gonna, if she, is she gonna love me for the rest of her life or something? And if that's the case, then how are we going to proceed with the, what is that thing called? Kaiba is not gonna be okay with having a Nerul priest around, even if she has not followed her path of Nerul priest and priestesses anymore. But let's do the demon from the altar room. Morale increase 6. The image of that shadowy specter burned into your mind. So it's reasonably easy to create it. I thought it would be very difficult to create the illusion because I thought like we didn't get a good look or something. But whatever. Excuse me. Okay, so evidently you do a good job, for as the dark shadowy man emerges from the stone slabs, grasp come up from the crowd, all of them fall to their knees and kneel down, butts in the air. We are your slaves, Unroll. We pledge our souls to ancient power, the head priest says in Inferal. In Alethea's name, back to the abyss fiend, the unicorn says, in the common tongue, one large dark eye staring up at your illusion. You nearly shout in surprise. You've never seen a horse talk. His horsey lips do not move. Fear not, unicorn, you whisper in one of the long ears. It's merely an illusion. Wait, what? Fear not, unicorn, you whisper in one of the long ears. It's merely an illusion. You then cut the unicorn's bond with your dagger. The priests still have their faces down on the dirt when the unicorn goes and strikes one of them. Strikes the first of them. Soon they are panic-stricken screams, possessed. He has possessed the beast. Mercy on us. What? Okay, so the illusion of the demon was the best option then. That's good. That's good to know. Possessed. He has possessed the beast. Mercy on us. You hear a priest shout as he runs down the hill towards the woods. Several others follow him. You can hold your illusion, your invisibility no longer. Trickery. One of the priests shouts. He begins casting a spell. The unicorn cores him before he finishes it. Lord Igraine shouts and most blah 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 and let him die and bullshit. Okay. So do not just kill her. Is there any other option after this? I don't think there is. Let me try a few other options just to like check around the options. Let's try a few. Let's see. Let's ambush them. Let's see what happens there. We have surprise on our side and they are about as vulnerable now as we can hope. If anyone wants to see any other choice, do tell me in the comments and I will come back to that. Or if you want to play it for yourself, then go look it up. It's on Google Play Store. It's called Medieval Fantasy. That's the name of the literal video. So you can just look that up and you'll get it. If you want a link, then we can do that as well. But, you know, it's pointless to put a link in when, you know, you can just find the game by its name. We have a surprise on a side and they're about as vulnerable now. Only the first chapter is, by the way, free. After that, you will have to pay to get the other chapters, which I might, because I'm liking the story. So I might download the other chapters. I mean, unlock the other chapters by paying whatever they're asking. Okay. And they're about as vulnerable now as we can hope. Perhaps if we strike the line where the unicorn is being carried, we can cut the creatures loose before they know what is happening, you say. Okay. A bold plan. You best be swift with your blade keen to free the unicorn before they slay us with their death magic. Reginald says. The three of you run into a forest a good distance from the trail. Make haste trying to pass the priest by traveling parallel to them. This is all the more difficult since you have to leap over fallen logs and batter your way through the brush while the priest have a nice dirt path to walk on. By the time you take up your strategic position in the forest, you're breathing hard. The plan is for you to attack first with a large gout of flame. Reginald will then leap out of the forest to cover you as you cut the unicorn free. Kaiba will remain hidden up the tree to be your eyes from above and shout things like three from the north. Kaiba says from her perch. Okay, I thought that was after she was giving an example that this is how I would say it. Soon you hear priests and then the priests are passing by. You did not quite appreciate how many of them there were the first time as the bound unicorn draws near. You feel a large lump in your stomach. There is now priest walking along the side of the stretcher as though providing protection. Perhaps they heard you crashing through the forest as you worked to get ahead of the column. It's the moment you have been waiting for. You're supposed to signal an attack by starting off, but you do not move. And he looks at you and you shake your head. His eye betrays something. Disappointment. You burn with shame. I cannot. To attack would be suicide, you tell yourself. When the column passes, Kaiba drops to the forest floor. You are a coward, she hisses at you. Being called a coward by a wayfish merchant's daughter will not be among your fondest memories. Reginald looks at you. You shake your head. His eyes betray. Oh, you shake your head. Okay. So Reginald looks at her. You're like, nah, fam. I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think we can do it. I don't think I can do it, to be more precise. I mean, I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, that is definitely not a good idea. This is at least a good way they did this, because instead they could have the dude who wrote this. They could have just gone for like, we attack them and they just kill us, or we get captured and then they kill us or something like that, and they just sacrifice us and there's no other choice after that. They could have done that, but they're just like, nah, fam. I don't think I can do this. His eyes betray something. Disappointment. You burn with shame. I cannot. To attack would be suicide, you tell yourself. Okay, you're a coward. Why is our once demure frightened? Okay, that's what we'll take. Okay, yeah. So basically, it does not work. I'll try this one as well, just for fucks. Holy shit! Death, or your first death in your in any volume in library. Plenty more where this come from. These aren't so easy. Fight on. Suicidal tendencies, as they say, fools boldly go where angels fear to tread. Oh, that's good. Yeah, suicidal tendencies. 100 life decrease, straight up. Minus 89. Certainly the plan to sacrifice unicorns, and we must act before they do. If we can scatter them long enough, Kaiba can cut the unicorn free. Then we have an additional ally. He'll strike like lightning. Ragnar's plan was shit. He was like, fire and steel. I already told you, like 24 of them. How are we supposed to fire and steal their bitch ass? Alright. With your Ragnar in the lead, you rush up the grassy hill. The murmurs and the chanting from the evil priest turn to shout the surprise and alarm. Soon dark hissing rays of death magic slice the air around you. You are struck in the leg and go down on one knee. Fortunately, you are close enough to use your fan of fire. So a burst of flame shoots out on your fingers. Several pieces fall as they light on the fire. Unfortunately for you, this is also when the barrage of death rays from all the other priests begin to earnest. With his swords ready, does not make it to their line before he is cut down. And then they turn their muscular eyes to you. Alas, you finally succumb to your wounds and die and collapse, whatever. Let's load up the last one. I want to try this one. I'm just gonna boost my stats a little bit. Yep, let's do that. I'm gonna try this last one, and then when I'm gonna close up. Very well, we shall help you get your vengeance, you tell Kaiba, and if you have any wish to live, do not fight them. I'm gonna speed up because I'm getting late. Simply lure them into the forest and allow Ragnar and myself to do the bloody work. You and Ragnar take up the ambush position on each side of an animal tree. When you're ready, Kaiba walks off towards the evil priest hill. Then you hear shouting, and then Kaiba sprints past your hiding place. You can see three Nerulian priests chasing her, and they appear to be running perfectly into your ambush position. Nice job, Kaiba, you think. You have hoped to lure them more than 3 since you have counted more than 20 total. 22, 24, right. More than 3 since you counted more than, you hope to lure more than 3. Okay, yeah, whatever. Still 3 dead villains is good. Firebolt one of them. Let's do that. Mana decreases. Morale increases. Ragnar leaps out with one mighty swing, nearly lobs off the head of the Nerulan priest in the lead. As planned, Ragnar has halted them by springing out in front. Now it's your turn to strike from the ward. With an arcane ball, you sent a firebolt into the back of another priest, engulfing him in flames. The third one unsheathes a short sword, but he's clearly distracted by his burning comrade rolling over in agony. Ragnar cuts him down before he's able to put up a fight. Okay. Suddenly, Kaiba trots out of the forest. She stops short of the fallen priests and beams down at them. Wonderful. We should set their heads upon spike to decorate our camp. Well, it's not time to start playing with their parts. Not just yet with their parts. You said there are lost only 3 men out of perhaps 2 dozen. You hear a woman scream. Was it frightening little girl or Banton? A voice carries from the direction of the priest hill. Laughter trickles in through the trees. We have some better do something about quick before the suspicions of our remaining enemies are aroused. You caught me, oh you caught me. Kaiba claps her hand excitedly. Don those hoods, raise the hoods, and drag me up the hill. They're not so stupid as to mistake us for the comrades in broad daylight. Near well, we do not dare we dare not attack so many without surprise. We cannot simply sneak up on them now. Surely they are watching the woods, you say. Keep your back to them as you drag me, Kaiba says. Ragnar shakes his head. This ambush worked well enough. Perhaps you could call more of them into the woods, divide them further. Shout to them that we need help searching for the girl. Okay. If I have enough power, I could become English and go up there alone. Yes, okay. Okay, so TTS and Bantam come on now, and the ceremony must continue. Okay, so Nerul piece is shouting. Cast the illusion, we all know what that does. Lure into ambush. Lure more into ambush? I don't think that would work. What the fuck? Let's lure more into ambush. Help us find her. Ragnar shouts in a disguised voice that sounds like an angry moose. Ragnar laughs into your sleeve. Why is he laughing into my sleeves? What fine sport this is, you whisper. Idiot, comes an irate sound. Leave her then. The ceremony must proceed. You sigh. You do not think this ruse will work. We cannot expect them to leave their prize on the hill to beat the bushes for a girl. You must act quickly before they become suspicious. What do? Let's drag her up the hill. You and Ragnar strip the back cloaks from the 2 of the dead priests. Put them on. Ragnar drops his shield. Oh, but isn't there blood on them? Ragnar drops his shield, bow, and quiver. Does his best to hide his sword and unsheathed beneath his cloak. You all walk to the edge of the forest, begin the ruse. The Ragnar gives one Kaiba's hand so much he claps the pair of you back her, pull her up the hill with your backs to your enemies. Kaiba struggles convincingly, plus a little too convincing. She's beginning to wear you out. Where is Bantan? Someone calls to you. He's dropping a dragon. You call back wheezing. There is a scattered laughter from the hill above. The fool, this is no time to relieve himself. We must put him on the rock next. You hear of somewhat familiar voice. Loud a grain, you wonder. Commence, the voice commands. A chorus of chanting begins in the infernal language. You praise you. Yes, you already. This one of the repeat this a few long seconds later, you have dragged Kaiba nearly to the top. You still have not turned around. We can't very well just stand there with your backs to them, so it's time to act. Fan of fire. Let's fan of fire. Area of effect spell. AoE. We did an AoE on him. Oh boy. An AoE. That sounds cool even to say it. Well, you absolutely positively got to kill every motherfucker in the room except no substitutes. That's good. Morale increases 4, life decreases 3, and mana decreases 4. You speak the magic phrases, spin around. Some of the faces that stare at you are familiar, locals of Ring City perhaps, although you cannot place them. Their quizzical expression are quickly replaced in your vision with orange and red as you blast forth a great fan of flame from your fingertips. Man, maybe we are even stronger than an apprentice. Maybe like a lower level expert mage. Maybe we are actually maybe just a good mage, like above the apprentice level. Motherfucker, this guy came back. Can you hear him? He just did a roundabout and came back right in front of my house. I'm gonna beat his fucking ass outside. God damn him. Okay, let me just finish this. Your spell engulfs half a dozen or so of those nearest you, and their shrieks of terror and pain. Ragnall wastes no time unsheathing his sword and charging in. Your surprised Cabot does not run, rather she unsheathes her dagger and with a maniacal laugh springs into the thicket of it. We need another ally in this fight. You think to yourself as you rush to the marble slab on which the unicorn is bound. You slash at the ropes with the dagger, pain and cold sizzle through as a sizzling black ray strikes your arm, causing you to drop your dagger. You pick up the dagger with your other hand, finish cutting the beautiful beast loose. The creature looks at you and says, "Thank you, good sir." Then he leaps up. You will pay for your iniquities, he announces to the others. Life decreases 2 more. You nearly shout in surprise. Okay, yeah, one of the glares at you. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Yeah. Charm her. Reading grains. Why is this increasing my morale? I don't think charming girls and kissing them this usually gives the person morale, but whatever. Yeah, I'm not the one to complain. I'm getting a kiss. Alright. And a honey kiss at that. Look at that. She might be evil, but her lips are like honey, you think to yourself. Alright, so that's that. Thank you for watching, and maybe I will get the next chapter if it's not too fucking expensive. And like and sub and share the video, as I say every single time. Do that would be lovely. Follow me on Twitter, there's a link in the description. There's my DTube account where I'm currently playing Haramasa Simulator, which is a hentai game. Great game, by the way. It's about the world ending and there's only a few men left. I calculated it to like 2,500, 25,000 men versus 5 billion women. Yeah, I think that was the ratio. And you have to impregnate as many girls as you can. How many impregnations have I gotten to at this point? Like 17 or something? I'm not sure. 17 or 20. But yeah, go there, watch that. I've got few episodes up there, like 14 or so. So also there's a thing that I've wanted to mention. If you go to DTube, when you go on my channel, you only see 2 videos that has nothing to do with anything. One is a test upload, the other one is like an update video where I'm just reading an update. Just go on top right, there's a gear button, click that, click show content, and then there's like NSFW allow. Click that, and then all the videos will just pop up. For some reason, NSFW is always deactivated on the website. You have to activate it to see the videos that are actually hidden. And every time you reload, it resets to just like not showing them. So keep that in mind. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.